Hey everyone and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where it is the beginning of the week, so it's time for the— oh, we need to be outside to do the minion roulette. Okay, let's go outside, do the minion roulette, and then we can get started. Before we get started on the main story today, there are several things we need to go over. One is an issue that came up with the translation of the game. We got Wind Up Furion for this week. We got you recently during the Moonfire Fair. Not from the Moonfire Fair, but from our achievements. I decided to use the Moonfire Fair episode to also spend a bunch of achievement certificates on a whole bunch of rewards, including Wind Up Furion. Alright then, let's see. Before we get started, there's several things we need to go over. First off, Midgardsormr, the translation of his speech to us at the end of Keeper of the Lake. It was not, when it was translated to English, they translated it with a bunch of flowery language that actually obfuscated and even unintentionally removed some details that were given in every other language, especially the original Japanese. So for the sake of making sure we have the information that we are supposed to have here, even though the translation kind of left some of it a little bit more unspoken than it should have, I'm going to be taking this translation from... let's see. I'm going to be taking this translation from Midgardsormr on Reddit, who posted 10 years ago. Specifically... Actually, you know what? Let's read the translation from Agnes Lind in the same thread. 10 years ago, Agnes Lind posted a translation of the Japanese into English, compared with the original, official localization. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and read through the Japanese to English translation that the Redditor posted, and then we'll go up and, summarize the, key facts that were missed in the official English localization. Midgardsormr starts, "So you too possess the Echo. That is why the Phantom form cannot win over you. In that case, it is Heidelin's will that we shall converse. Tell me, why are you here?" "This is true, the star in the northern skies burns with the various roar of my kin. This is the battle cry calling to advance. Their destination is Ishgard, home of the people who have forgotten fear and have sinned. This is retribution. The people of Ishgard are blind to their sins. Their sins demand battle without end. And yet more they want to sin again. This is why my kin roars. You bid me to stop the war. You might possess the Echo, but you're just a human. I cannot grant such a wish. I have awoken to answer to the roar, for it was not me who roared, but one of my 7 sons. As Ishgard doesn't want to repent, my child and their people will not delay their retribution. The land shall burn, their people shall die, the justice will be done." At this point, our Blessing of Light protects us from Midgardsormr. "This light, you protect him. Protect him or her. Heidelin, you bestow more power on this one who already bears the Echo. Could it be you think him special? Heidelin, you wish me to grant them power. Very well, then I shall test you. The Dragon Claw has pierced you by my power and now locks away the Blessing of Light given by Heidelin. Thus the light has also cast a shadow. Perhaps even without my claw, the light would grow dim one day. I made a promise to her, and so I shall not take your life. However, you are human. Like people of Ishgard, you are capable of foolish crimes. Do not think I spare your life for nothing. This is my apparition, my avatar. From now on, it will go with you. The avatar's eyes are my eyes. The avatar's ears are my ears. I will see what you can accomplish without the Blessing of Light. Make your destiny, special one. Break free from my claw with your own strength. If you truly have special power, you can end the battle of judgment. This will be your trial. My body will one day be reborn with the Aether flowing in the land. Overcome the trial then and bring the will of light to the people. However, this will not be an easy path. Soon my kin will do battle with humanity. The roar of my children has already been heard in all of the land." So, quite a bit different in some places from the English translation. So, a summary from Midgardsormr on Reddit on what specific key things are different between the translations. The people of Ishgard committed some kind of sin in the past and are going to commit another one. That's why the dragons are going to war. The whole crystal scene takes a very different air. In the English, he basically removed the Blessing of Light, which we got in addition to the Echo. In Japanese, he seals it and mentions that even if he didn't do it, it would have probably happened eventually. And the whole thing is supposed to be a test. Speaking of tests, the little minion is actually Midgardsormr, to see if we will pass the test, and to see if we will sin in the same way as other humans. Though that was fairly clear in the English translation, it was not explicitly stated. He mentions the war can't be stopped, but we may be able to influence it and at the very least make sure it doesn't get much worse. And specifically, he's testing us to see if we can eventually stop it. And he's testing us because he's in some sort of covenant with Hydaelyn. He's made some sort of agreement with Hydaelyn, and he wants to obey that. And since it seems like Hydaelyn is protecting us, therefore, he cannot kill us because he's obeying Hydaelyn's orders effectively. So yeah, lots and lots of info there. So then, now before we get to the main story, we have some things to go over. Achievements have given us rewards. Let me see. First off, under the character category, General for Life Adventure 1, which requires hitting level 50 on all the A Realm Reborn jobs. We get the Paragon's Crown. Could have gotten this a lot sooner. Oh well. Next up, under Commendations, Leaving a Good Impression 4 gives us the Sovereign Barding. And Everybody's Darling, 500 player commendations, gives us the Gilded Armor Identification Key, giving us the new mount. Okay, next up, under Items, we're looking for one of the Leader of the Band achievements. Leader of the Band 3. For 50 unique Orchestrion rolls, we get Defender of the Realm. And then under Grand Company, under Order of the Twin Adder, we can find, for 500,000 Serpent Seals, we get the Twin Adder Escutcheon. We cannot wear it because we are not in the Twin Adder, but we can at least have it. Neat, neat, neat. So, let's see. We have the Sovereign Barding. Let's go ahead and get that added for our Chocobo. The Gilded Armor Identification Key, which we'll go over its info in a moment. The Defender of the Realm Orchestrion roll. And finally, we got the Miniature Minecart Minion, which I believe I got from... Let's see. That would be from the Highland Exploration 14 venture, which mining retainers can do. It is a small chance of getting it, but you can eventually get the miniature minecart. Awesome. Okay, let's go over the new mount, the new minion, and then we can move on with the main story. Gilded Magitech Armor. It only took a few heated skirmishes with the allied city-states for Garlemald to realize that the magics wielded by the realm's mages were too much for even the thickest of Magitech armor plating. Alloyed gilding has since been discovered to dampen the effect of elemental charges, and is now standard issue. You ditched your Magitech armor? Full of a Lullafell. From Biggs. Alright, and the minion. Here we go, Miniature Minecart. Despite adamant claims by Amagina and Sons Mineral Concern that their donation of over 5 score carts to the Orphans of Stone's Throw was a simple act of charity, opponents of the guild insist it was a scheme to recruit inexpensive child labor for Thanalin's myriad mines. Oh, that's absolutely an attempt at child labor. Mine's mine. Mine's all mine. From Biggie the Spriggan, who we meet in Copperbell Heart, I believe? Okay. That's everything. Alphino. Let's do this. Main story time. Alphino has a message from Moonbreeda for the Scions. Ere I forget, I believe Moonbreeda has requested a gathering of the Scions. I assume there has been some progress concerning our efforts to combat the Ascians. Good to hear. Pray inform her that our business with the Ishgardians is concluded for the moment. I shall be along once I've completed my communications with the Crystal Braves. Sounds good. Did anyone change? I'm pretty sure I checked already. And no, nobody's changed. Except maybe Tataru. Oh wait, Moonbreeda's in the actual, primary Rising Stones, not in the Solar. My mistake? Alright then, Moonbreeda! I hear you've had some developments. All done with your talk of dragons? Wonderful, because Ascians are next on the menu. Let's head into the solar, shall we? I guess I was just too eager. Alright, let's follow her on in and see what she's figured out.
Now that everything's calmed down a bit, relatively speaking I mean, I thought it might be a good time to share our progress on the weapon. I believe we're on the verge of a breakthrough.
Well, don't keep us all in suspense.
Just in case anyone's forgotten, let's start by reviewing what we already know. So, an Ascian is an immortal because its soul doesn't return to the ethereal realm when its host is defeated. Instead, it flees to the place that lies between our world and the void. Therefore, the first step to permanently defeating an Ascian is preventing its soul from making this journey. And if you recall, when we last gathered here, I had verified that white auracite has adequate capacity to entrap the beings, albeit only briefly.
Which left the small matter of their extermination.
Aye. To unmake an Ascian soul, one must needs smite it with a concentrated burst, or blade, of purest ether. However, we wanted for both the data and the means to forge such a weapon.
Short of experimenting on an actual Ascian, you see, there's no way to gauge how much ether its soul is made of. As such, we don't know what etheric density our blade needs to have in order for it to work.
So we'll just have to make the densest blade we can and hope for the best. Though that would require a lot of ether. Hang on a minute. Why didn't we think of this before? White auracite can hold an absolute heap of ether, can't it?
Please tell me you're joking. God's sakes, Ida. I feel as though I'm reliving the same scene over and over with you. How many times do you need to be told that white auracite cannot store ether for long periods? Being intangible matter, ether is given to dispersion. Only in its crystallized form is it a stable source of energy. I will test you later on this, so see to it you do not forget.
Right, yes. It's all coming back to me.
So our hopes rest on good old crystals again, do they? While they are certainly reliable, they leave something to be desired in the area of portability.
Indeed. I am reminded of the quantity of corrupted crystals required to thwart Leviathan, and the extraordinary lengths to which the Lamentsons went to transport them. What if it should prove that a similar quantity was needed to destroy an Ascian's soul? Or still more?
I do not envy the poor sod who has to lug all of that around, on the off chance that an Ascian appears.
That's the very problem we set out to solve, and I reckon we've found the answer. If it isn't practical to lug around the ether we need, we'll just have to draw upon another source. And the only viable source is the land.
If you mean to tap the Great River of Ether, know that it will entail considerable risk. Meddling with the currents may well induce a surge like to the one which despoiled Mordona.
Give me a bit more credit, will you? Why would we need to tap the river when there are veritable reservoirs jutting out all over the land? Aye, I speak of corrupted crystals. It might be that their aspect is out of balance, but a crystal's a crystal. It contains ether, and we can help ourselves to it.
While corrupted crystals are indeed abundant, there is no guarantee that they will be in close proximity at a crucial moment.
But what if we don't need them to be? What if we could tap their power from afar? A malm away, say? If we could do that, we'd have ready access to Aether aplenty in almost every corner of Eorzea. I've yet to put my theories to the proof, but I've got a good feeling about this. If no one has any objections, I'd like to see where this avenue leads.
If you think it's worth your while, you have my blessing. But tell us, what are your theories? I, for one, am most eager to understand the process, however vaguely.
I thought you might say that, but no one wants to listen to boring old theories all day, do they? I know I don't. So with your permission, I'd like to try something a bit more hands-on. I've already built an etheric siphon especially for this purpose, and I've been meaning to try it out. Thing is, the profusion of corrupted crystals in Mordona makes it something of a high-risk testing ground. If anything goes awry with the siphon, it would be better if it didn't happen within spitting distance of quite so much ether. Ideally, I need an isolated specimen. Does anyone know where I can find one?
May I suggest northern Thanalan? There you will find corrupted crystals of middling size, standing a reasonable distance apart. Ideal for your needs, I should have thought. Oh, and if you do elect to visit the place, I should be much obliged if you would assist me in another matter while you are in the area.
Has something happened?
Movement has been observed at Castrum Meridianum. During Operation Archon, the Alliance dealt the stronghold a heavy blow. Its facilities were extensively damaged, and its garrison reduced to a fraction of its former strength. Not long after our forces withdrew, however, their ranks were replenished by reinforcements from Castrum's sentry. They now seek to rebuild, and to this end they have their sights set upon the ceruleum processing plant. Having lost the Empire's support, the 14th Legion lacks the resources to sustain itself. To them, this is a bid for survival, and they will doubtless fight like desperate men. Though I have dispatched the Crystal Braves, I fear their strength alone may not suffice to stay the Imperial assault. I would request the Scion's aid in the defensive effort.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you were trying to inveigle us into fighting your battle with the promise of shiny crystals. Well then, consider me inveigled. I won't lie, the crystals you speak of sound perfect, so the Garleans have to go. Besides, we can't afford to beat about the bush. There's no telling when the Ascians will next appear.
Thine eagerness to hurl thyself into the jaws of danger cometh as little surprise. Exercise due caution, I prithee.
Though you have become a Crystal Brave, you are yet a Scion, Alphino. We could hardly refuse you. Pray, join the Crystal Braves and lend them your support. Thangred and Papalymo shall accompany you. Ida and Yashtola, in the meantime I would have you assist Moonbreeder. Scout out the crystal clusters, that the testing may commence as soon as the Garlean threat has been eliminated.
If it please you, I shall continue mine own experiments on white aurosite.
Thank you, Urianger. Everyone, pray see to your preparations and depart as soon as you are able. Go well, and be safe.
If this Aether siphon works, we will finally be able to take down Ascians. This is a huge boon. Let's hope it works. But first, we've got Garleans to deal with. Oh, goodness, everyone's moved around. I suppose we are deploying to fight the Garleans, so. We do seem to be running low on provisions. I believe an excursion to the marketplace is in order. For a small organization, we certainly chew through a prodigious amount of foodstuffs. Perhaps I should put a lock on the larder door. I mean, the Scions have a bunch of soldiers on hand. It's not too surprising that they're going to be eating a lot. They need to keep their energy up. I see that the Scions once more ready themselves for the road. I too must make preparations for an absence from the Rising Stones. Oh? Are you going somewhere? Hori was most eager to join you on the front lines of battle, but as fate would have it, the antecedent had other plans for our talents. It seems you have barely arrived before you must once more plunge into the fray. Duty is an unforgiving mistress, eh? Though the tasks we tackle are not like to be as realm-shaking, Coltene and I must also heed her call. Alright, you two are stationed to, protect the Rising Stones. Sounds good. Actually, no, considering you're talking with Flamine, and Flamine was mentioning leaving for a bit. They could have also been assigned as her bodyguards. Also very reasonable. Alright, Alphino, I believe we're ready to go. 'Twould seem that the events have once more conspired to rob us of rest and recuperation. Though I would wish it otherwise, I must ask you head straight away to the processing plant. The 4th have already deployed to the area and will await the arrival of the Scions. Wilred will brief you on the developing situation. Meanwhile, I must rendezvous with Captain Ilbert at our headquarters in Ul'dah. I shall take command of our forces there with a lighter heart, knowing that you go to support the front lines. Sounds good. Your duties take you to Northern Thanalin, do they not? We too must say our farewells to the Rising Stones for a time. Flamine travels to Ul'dah and we shall serve as her escort. At my daughter's behest, I go to contact certain old acquaintances in the Gilded City. We are beset on all sides by civil unrest and imperial machinations, threatened by primals and troubled by dragons. We need all the allies we can muster. Many of my friends hold positions of power, you see, and it is my hope that they can be convinced to aid the Scion's cause. If past events have taught us anything, then we know that Eorzea must present a united front or we shall fall. Ah, how extraordinary that my little Ascilia is involved in such far-reaching affairs. I am proud that I might now stand at her side not only as a mother, but also as a colleague. A colleague with influential connections, but I fear that Ul'dah has become a place of danger even for one so familiar with her streets. Bah, woe betide the blackguard that so much as glares in your direction, milady. Aha, I shall be well protected, it seems. Shall we be on our way then? I feel a little bad for the so-called B team of the Scions. They so clearly want to be on the front lines with us, but at the same time, like, the duties they do get assigned, protecting the Rising Stones against, you know, possible Garlean attack like what happened at the Waking Sands. As well as protecting our important allies. Those are definitely very, very valuable tasks that need to be done. Hopefully someday we'll have a larger staff and be able to spread out those duties a little bit more thinly. So that people who want to be on the front lines can join us on the front lines without fear of leaving important tasks unguarded or undone. Alright then, on to Northern Thanalin. Alright, the cerulean processing plant's not too far south. It's the closer of the Aetherites. Okay, knowing the ceruleum is oil, God, I hate that. I hate that so much. That's horrifying. Just the plumes of ceruleum spewing out into the sky. Hello there, Wilred. Commander Levier said word that you'd be coming. A veteran of your talents is most welcome. Not that I don't think we can handle the situation, mind you. I learned a trick or two since that disaster with the Amalja. But returning to the task at hand. The Flames reconnaissance scouts have reported Imperial soldiers assembling at Ralbon's push. Such a force is likely interested in only one thing, getting their hands on the resources found here at the processing plant. The Garleans could begin marching on us at any time. Pray speak with Lieutenant Edelstein that we might coordinate our counter-strategy. In the meantime, I will inform the others that you have arrived. No doubt it will be welcome tidings. Hello there, Edelstein. We ready to go? Lieutenant Lonsi, my soldiers yet tell tales of your deeds during Operation Archon. Would that we could sit a while and reminisce about old times, but I fear more pressing matters require our attention. The civilian draftsmen, you see, have come across several highly suspicious crates within the boundaries of the processing plant. I had my sappers take a closer look and our worst fears were confirmed. These boxes contain powerful explosive devices. Devices of Imperial design, no less. By my orders, the Flame stationed here are conducting a thorough sweep of the compound as we speak. Though it troubles me that we are unable to apprehend the Imperial spy behind this, I have faith that our men will be able to neutralize the threat for now. In the meantime, our scouts bring troubling news on the latest movements of the Imperial army. I would once again ask for your aid. Alright then. Next time on Final Fantasy XIV, we're going on the counteroffensive as we ward off the Garleans. I'll see everyone next time for that.